What if some of the most interesting gemstones around you don't look valuable at all? They might look like brown rocks, dark crystals, clear pieces of quartz, or ordinary stones sitting unnoticed on the ground. But sometimes, the difference between an ordinary rock and a remarkable specimen is hidden in a small detail. A strange crystal shape, an unusual color, a flash of light, or something you can only see under special conditions. Today, we're looking at 10 gemstones and minerals that can easily be overlooked. I'll show you what makes each one unusual, what clues you can look for in the field, and why collectors pay attention to them. And the first one may be the ultimate example of a treasure hiding in plain sight. 1. Yawa nut opal. What if you picked up a small brown rock, and the real treasure was hiding inside? That's the mystery of the Yawa nut opal. From the outside, these ironstone nodules can look almost worthless. Brown, rounded, rough, and ordinary. But some contain precious opal with flashes of brilliant color. Yawa nuts are associated with the Yawa opal fields of Queensland, Australia, where opal can occur inside rounded ironstone nodules. And that makes the search unusual. You're not simply looking for colorful stones. You're looking for a rock that might contain something extraordinary. Look for rounded or oval ironstone nodules with brown, reddish-brown, or dark earthy surfaces. Pay attention to cracks, seams, and unusual patches that could hint at what's inside. But remember, not every nodule contains valuable opal. That uncertainty is part of the excitement. The exceptional ones can reveal flashes of red, blue, green, orange, or yellow when opened and properly exposed. And that's what makes Yawa nut opal so fascinating. The outside may look completely ordinary, while the real treasure is waiting inside. But what if the secret isn't just hidden in the rock? What if it comes alive when light hits the stone? 2. Dravite tourmaline. Not every interesting gemstone is bright green, blue, or red. Sometimes, it's brown. Dravite is a brown variety of tourmaline, ranging from dark brown to golden brown. To an inexperienced eye, it may look like an ordinary dark crystal, but its crystal shape can give you an important clue. Look for elongated prismatic crystals, often with vertical faces and striations. Brown to golden brown material is especially worth examining, particularly when parts of the crystal are transparent or translucent. The surrounding rock can also provide clues, since dravite can form in certain metamorphic and boron-rich geological environments. But don't rely on color alone. Other brown minerals can look very similar. Crystal shape, color, transparency, and geological setting together give you a much stronger identification. And that's why dravite is easy to overlook. It doesn't need to sparkle brightly to stand out. Sometimes, the biggest clue is simply a crystal with an unusually perfect shape. And the next gemstone has an even stranger clue, a star. 3. Star garnet. Imagine holding a dark red garnet in sunlight and suddenly seeing a star move across its surface. That's star garnet. The star-like effect is called asterism. Certain internal structures can create a 4 or 6-rayed star when the stone is viewed under the right light and angle. Look for dark red, reddish purple, or wine-colored garnet material. If you find a rounded garnet in natural gravel, examine it under strong light and slowly rotate it. Watch carefully. Does a line appear? Does it move with the light? That could be a clue to asterism. But scratches and fractures can create similar reflections, so a suspected star garnet should be examined carefully. The best specimens are judged by the sharpness and symmetry of the star, along with color, size, transparency, and overall quality. And that's what makes star garnet fascinating. You're not just looking for a garnet, you're looking for one that reacts to light. But our next stone can fool you in a completely different way. 4. Phenakite. A clear crystal, sharp edges, bright appearance. You might immediately think quartz, but sometimes that assumption can be wrong. Phenakite is a relatively uncommon mineral that can occur as colorless or pale yellow crystals. Its clarity and crystal shape make it especially interesting to collectors. Look for well-formed, sharply defined crystals with good transparency. Pay attention to the surrounding rock, especially pegmatite environments where phenakite can occur. But don't identify it by appearance alone. Quartz can look very similar, so proper testing may be needed to confirm what you found. And that's what makes phenakite so interesting. A crystal that looks ordinary could turn out to be something much rarer than you expected. And next, we're moving from a clear crystal to a gemstone where color seems to float inside the stone. 5. Crystal opal. Imagine looking at a stone and seeing flashes of color beneath its surface. That is one of the reasons crystal opal is so captivating. Its body can be transparent or translucent, allowing light to enter the stone and interact with its internal structure. The result can be flashes of red, orange, green, blue, or combinations of colors that change as you move the stone. In the field, start with the body of the stone. Hold it towards strong natural light. Does some light pass through? Does the material have a translucent appearance? Then look carefully for play of color. The important thing isn't simply a shiny reflection. You're looking for color that changes with the viewing angle. Also pay attention to the host rock and the geological setting. Rough opal may look very different from the finished gemstone you see in jewelry. That's why experienced collectors learn to examine the material around the opal as well. And here's the frustrating part. Two pieces of rough material can look almost identical, yet one may reveal spectacular color after cutting, while the other shows very little. So sometimes, the real skill isn't finding colorful opal. It's recognizing rough material that deserves a closer look. And our next stone is even more subtle. 6. Enstatite. At first glance, enstatite might not look impressive. It can be olive green, greenish brown, or brown, so it's easy to mistake it for an ordinary rock. Look for elongated or blocky crystals with a subtle luster. Some specimens may also show translucent edges or sections when light passes through them. The surrounding rock can be an important clue because enstatite is commonly associated with magnesium-rich rocks and certain high-temperature geological environments. But don't rely on color alone. Crystal shape, cleavage, hardness, density, and the host rock can help narrow down the identification. Enstatite may not be the stone that grabs your attention first, but sometimes the most interesting finds are the ones that make you stop and look twice. 7. Hessonite garnet. What if you found a garnet, but it wasn't deep red? Instead, it was orange-brown. Warm, honey-like, almost cinnamon-colored. That's Hessonite garnet, often called the cinnamon stone. Look for orange-brown, reddish-brown, honey, or cinnamon-like material. Fresh surfaces can have a glassy luster, while worn rough pieces may not show an obvious crystal shape. Don't automatically reject specimens with inclusions. They can naturally occur in Hessonite and add to its appearance. But color alone isn't enough. Consider the crystal characteristics and geological setting. Fine color, transparency, size, and overall appearance can affect its desirability, whether as jewelry material or a collector specimen. And here's the question. If this stone were sitting next to ordinary brown rocks, would you recognize it? Most people probably wouldn't. But our next stone is even harder to miss once you know its crystal shape, because this one is almost completely black. 8. Schorl, black tourmaline. A black crystal might not sound exciting, but if you see the right shape, you may want to stop. Schorl is the common black variety of tourmaline. It can form long, strongly prismatic crystals that are often much more distinctive than the color itself. Look for elongated, column-like crystals. One of the useful visual clues is the strong, lengthwise striation that can occur on tourmaline crystals. The color is usually black or very dark. Then look at the surrounding rock. Schorl is commonly associated with granitic pegmatites and related rocks. A dark, elongated crystal growing in a pegmatite environment deserves a closer look. But don't assume every black crystal is tourmaline. Other dark minerals can look similar. The crystal habit is one of the clues that can help. Schorl may not be famous for enormous jewelry values, but attractive, well-formed crystals can be important collector specimens. And this is a good reminder. A mineral doesn't have to be flashy to be fascinating. But our next mineral has a trick that makes it much more dramatic. Because under the right light, it can glow. 9. Willemite. Imagine finding a dull-looking mineral during the day. Then you shine ultraviolet light on it, and suddenly it glows bright green. That's Willemite. Some Willemite specimens are famous for strong fluorescence, making them particularly exciting for mineral collectors. It's one of those minerals that can look completely different depending on the lighting. In normal light, examine the color and texture. Willemite can occur in several appearances, so color alone isn't enough. Look at the associated minerals and the geological environment. Then, if you have suitable UV equipment and are working safely, examine the specimen under ultraviolet light. A strong green fluorescence can be a valuable clue. But remember, a glowing rock isn't automatically Willemite. Other minerals can fluoresce too. The UV response should be combined with other identification properties, and that's what makes Willemite such a great mystery mineral. You can look at the same rock twice and see two completely different things. Daylight shows one story, ultraviolet light reveals another. And now we're reaching our final stone. It has a strange name, a distinctive crystal shape, and a look that can be surprisingly attractive when you find a good specimen. 10. Titanite, Sphene. Titanite is also known as Sphene. It can appear green, yellow-brown, brown, or other earthy shades, but its crystal shape can be one of its most useful clues. Good Titanite crystals can have a distinctive wedge-like appearance and a strong luster. Look closely at the crystal shape. Wedge-shaped or wedge-like crystals are worth investigating. Then examine the color. Yellowish-brown, greenish-brown, and yellow-green shades can occur. A bright, glassy luster can make a good crystal stand out from the surrounding rock. Titanite can also be relatively dense compared with many common rock-forming minerals, but density testing is better used as part of a broader identification rather than as a single field test. And don't rely on color alone. The crystal form, luster, host rock, and physical properties should all tell the same story before you confidently identify the mineral. Why collectors care. Well-formed crystals with attractive color, luster, transparency, and good condition can be especially desirable. And Titanite makes a fitting final example because it shows exactly what this entire video is about. The value of a specimen isn't always obvious from a quick glance. Sometimes, the clue is in the shape. So, what did these 10 stones teach us? Yowah nut opal showed us that the real treasure can be hidden inside an ordinary-looking rock. Dravite showed us that brown doesn't mean boring. Star garnet showed us how light can reveal a hidden star. Phenakite reminded us that a clear crystal isn't automatically quartz. Crystal opal showed us how color can appear to live inside a stone. Enstatite proved that subtle minerals can still be fascinating. Hessonite showed us that garnet doesn't have to be deep red. Schorl showed us why crystal shape matters. Willemite revealed that some minerals need ultraviolet light to show their secret. And Titanite showed us how a distinctive crystal shape can become an important clue. But there's one thing I want you to remember. Don't identify a stone from one feature. A red stone isn't automatically garnet. A clear crystal isn't automatically quartz. A black crystal isn't automatically tourmaline. And a glowing rock isn't automatically Willemite. Look at the whole picture. Color, crystal shape, luster, hardness, density, cleavage, host rock, location. And when a specimen seems unusual, take a closer look before you throw it away. Because the most interesting stone in front of you may not be the one that shines the brightest. It might be the one you almost walked past. So next time you're searching through gravel, exploring a rocky hillside, walking beside a river, or examining an outcrop, don't just ask, "Is this beautiful?" Ask, "What am I looking at?" Because sometimes, that question is where the real treasure hunt begins.